Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the modern playbook for building a massively valuable SaaS startup. We're going to unpack the strategies, the metrics, and really the mindset that separates a pretty good company from a truly dominant one in today's market.
And let me tell you, this market is absolutely on fire. I mean, the pace is just accelerating. In just one quarter of 2025, we saw a record 746 SaaS M&A deals. That's a 26% jump from the year before. So what's going on? Well, it's a feeding frenzy, plain and simple, all driven by a race to acquire the best AI capabilities.
And all that activity, it's leading to some pretty staggering valuations. The median private SaaS company is trading at over 22 times its earnings. And for the top performers, that number can blast past 46 times. I mean, the value creation here is just undeniable.
So that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? How do you actually build a company that can command that kind of value? Let me be clear, it's not luck. There's a very clear, very modern playbook that's emerging, and we're going to unpack it right now, step by step.
All right, first up, it all starts with this fundamental shift in strategy. The goal isn't just to be useful anymore or to make some process a little more efficient. No. The goal now is to build a fortress by making your company absolutely, positively indispensable to your customer's business.
And to really get this, just look at these two models. The old playbook, right, was to build what we call a system of record. Think of a simple CRM that just logs sales calls. It's useful for sure, but if it goes down for an hour, it's an inconvenience. The business itself doesn't just stop. But the new model, and this is supercharged by AI, creates a system of consequence. This is totally different. This is software that doesn't just track the work, it is the work. If this software fails, the core business operation it runs just grinds to a halt, period.
So, okay, how do you become this indispensable system? Well, you have to strategically weave your software into a company's most critical flows. We're talking the flow of money, the movement of actual physical things, or, and this one is huge, compliance and risk. Procore is the perfect example. It became the legally required audit trail for construction projects. You literally can't just turn it off.
Okay, so you've got this core idea, this vision of becoming indispensable. But how do you actually do it? How do you scale that business from the ground up? Well, that brings us to Section 2, the Centaur Playbook.
You know, the folks at Bessemer Venture Partners say the journey from $1 to $10 million in annual revenue is where the magic really happens. It's this critical phase where you have to evolve from being just a single, delightful feature into the first real signs of a true platform.
Now, Bessemer basically boiled down over a decade of insights into these key lessons. And while they're all super important, a few of them really combine to create this powerful, self-reinforcing growth loop. And understanding that loop is absolutely key.
At the heart of that growth loop is what's called the layer cake strategy. This isn't about chasing new shiny markets. It's about methodically building and selling more products into the market you already dominate. You just keep adding new layers of value for the happy customers you already have.
And again, Procore's journey is a total masterclass in this. They started way back in 2002 with just a core project management tool. And then, for almost 2 decades, they just relentlessly added new layers: financials, field productivity, capital planning. Every single layer made them more valuable and way, way harder to replace.
All right, now let's talk about the ultimate catalyst here. If being a system of consequence is the fortress you're building and the layer cake is the blueprint, then AI is the engine that brings it all roaring to life. It's what creates that exponential value, and it's the third part of our playbook.
To put it simply, AI is what makes this whole strategy so defensible and scalable today. It's the tech that powers that upgrade from being a helpful little tool that records data to being an essential platform that actively drives that consequential work we talked about.
You know, AI fundamentally reshapes the entire business model. It unlocks all these flexible, usage-based pricing options. It builds these powerful data modes that just get stronger with every single new customer. And it even makes the company more capital efficient, which means founders can grow with less outside money. And the data on this, it's crystal clear. This chart shows something called net dollar retention, or NDR. Think of it like this. It's a measure of health. It shows how much your revenue grows just from your existing customers. And look at this. Companies with those AI-powered, usage-based models, they see an average NDR of 122%. That means for every dollar you had last year, you now have $1.22. And that's without even adding a single new customer. You're actually growing with them.
AI also solves one of the oldest problems in SaaS, what we call the cold start problem. See, normally, a new customer has to use your software for months before you have enough of their data to give them smart insights. But with these new privacy-preserving AI techniques, you can actually aggregate learnings across your entire customer base and deliver incredible predictions and value to a brand new client on day one.
So, you've built the fortress, you've scaled it with the layer cake strategy, you've supercharged it with AI. That brings us to our final section, the endgame. What does the finish line actually look like? What are the metrics that define a top-tier company that's ready for a huge exit?
This, right here, is what excellence looks like in the public markets. This is basically the public playbook for the best of the best SaaS companies. They're not just growing fast. I mean, we're talking over 85% revenue growth. They're also incredibly efficient, with net retention over 135% and gross margins clearing 75%. That combo of insane growth and rock-solid efficiency, that's the holy grail for investors.
These are the headline numbers that define an elite company. The Rule of 40 proves you can grow fast and be profitable. Net revenue retention above 120% shows your product is so valuable that customers just keep spending more every year. It's like a compounding growth engine. And that path to $100 million in recurring revenue, that's the ticket to the big leagues. That's the scale you need to IPO or get that premium acquisition.
Ultimately, this entire modern playbook really just boils down to this one single question. It forces you to think way beyond features and to focus on the core value you provide. So ask yourself, are you just building a helpful tool that makes a process a little bit better? Or are you building the central, indispensable operating system that an entire industry is going to come to depend on? The answer to that question will define your ambition, your strategy, and the ultimate value of what you create.